The underestimated species Dr. Elena Vasquez stood at the observation deck of the Federation Council station, watching the elegant ships of a dozen alien civilizations drift past like metallic sea creatures. 50 years had passed since humanity's first contact with the Galactic Federation, and still, she felt like an outsider looking in. The other species treated humans with polite condescension, the way adults might indulge a child's attempt at serious conversation. Another fascinating human proposal, Ambassador Zethkri of the Altarian Collective had said just hours earlier, his translator rendering his multi-toned voice into flat, emotionless English. Your species shows such enthusiasm for construction projects. Elena had presented humanity's latest infrastructure initiative, a plan to build massive orbital habitats around Earth's outer planets. The Federation had dismissed it as typical human overreach. They saw humans as builders, yes, but primitive ones, species that threw metal and concrete at problems instead of using elegant energy matrices or bio-grown structures like the truly advanced civilizations. The Krillian representative hadn't even bothered to attend the presentation. The reptilian empire considered humans barely worth acknowledging, despite controlling 17 star systems and boasting the Federation's most extensive mining operations. To the Krillians, humans were useful for extracting resources from dead rocks, nothing more. Elena's wrist communicator buzzed with an urgent message from Earth. She activated the privacy field around her section of the observation deck and accepted the transmission. President Sarah Morrison's face appeared in the holographic display, her expression grim. "Elena, we need you back on Earth immediately," the president said without preamble. "Something's happened at New Terra, humanity's most successful colony world, home to 500,000 settlers in the Outer Rim territories." Elena's stomach clenched. What kind of something? The Krillians attacked without warning 3 hours ago. They claimed the system was in their traditional hunting grounds despite our legal claim being registered with the Federation for over a decade. Morrison's voice cracked slightly. "Elena, they didn't just attack our defensive platforms. They glassed the entire surface." The words hit Elena like a physical blow. The colonists? Gone. All of them. Men, women, children. The Krillians broadcast their reasoning across subspace. They said humans were an infestation that needed cleansing, and that New Terra would serve as an example. Elena gripped the railing of the observation deck so hard her knuckles went white. Through the transparent aluminum, she could see a Krillian battlecruiser docked at the station's military wing, its crew probably celebrating their massacre over fermented blood wine. "What's the Federation's response?" she asked, though she already knew the answer. "They're calling for an investigation." The Altarians expressed deep concern. The Vrex Empire issued a statement about regrettable misunderstandings between member species, the usual diplomatic theater. Morrison's expression hardened. "Elena, they're not going to do anything. To them, we're an expendable species that got too ambitious." Elena closed her eyes, seeing the faces of the New Terra colonists she'd visited just last year. Families who'd risked everything to build new lives on the frontier. Children who'd never see their parents again because they'd been vaporized from orbit by creatures who saw humans as insects. "I'm coming home," she said quietly. "Good, because we're not going to let this stand. I'm activating Protocol 7. Elena's eyes snapped open. Protocol 7 was theoretical, a contingency plan developed by Earth's military leadership for exactly this scenario, the moment when humanity realized they were truly alone in a hostile galaxy. "Are you certain?" Elena asked. "Once we start down that path, there's no going back. They killed 500,000 of our people, Elena, our children, and the galaxy's response is to schedule a committee meeting." Morrison's voice carried a cold fury Elena had never heard before. "We tried to play by their rules to be good little junior partners in their Federation, but they've shown us what they really think of humanity." The transmission ended, leaving Elena alone with her thoughts and the vast display of alien ships outside. Each one represented a species that had stood by while humans were slaughtered. Each one had chosen political convenience over justice. She made her way to the human embassy section of the station, her mind already racing through the implications of what was about to begin. Protocol 7 wasn't just a military response plan. It was a complete restructuring of humanity's approach to galactic civilization. In her private office, Elena accessed the deepest levels of Earth's colonial database. Her clearance level allowed her to see things that most humans never knew existed: the real extent of human expansion into space, the hidden facilities in asteroid fields and dead systems that officially didn't exist, the true scope of humanity's industrial capacity. The Federation saw humans as primitive builders, and they weren't entirely wrong. Humans did love to build. But they had vastly underestimated what humans could build when they put their minds to it. Elena's fingers flew across the holographic interface, pulling up classified files that detailed humanity's most ambitious construction projects. Deep in the outer system, beyond the orbit of Neptune, human engineers had been working on something unprecedented. Not the small orbital habitats they'd presented to the Federation, but something far more ambitious. The Titan project had begun, as a thought experiment by Earth's finest minds. What if humans could build not just ships but entire worlds? What if they could create vessels so large and powerful that they could serve as both home and weapon for millions of people? The project had been quietly funded for 15 years, disguised as routine mining operations and scientific research. Human construction crews had hollowed out asteroids and small moons, creating hidden shipyards in the empty spaces between stars. The work had been slow, careful, and absolutely secret. Elena pulled up the current status reports. Titan 1, codenamed Prometheus, was 70% complete. The vessel was larger than Earth's moon, equipped with manufacturing facilities, agricultural domes, and defensive systems that would make it virtually invincible. Its population capacity was 50 million people, making it a mobile human civilization. 4. More Titan-class world ships were in various stages of construction. The Federation had no idea they existed. Elena sent a coded message to the project directors scattered across human space. The message was simple: New Terra has fallen. Accelerate all timelines. Humanity stands alone. Over the next several hours, responses came back from dozens of secret facilities. The Void Builders, as they called themselves, were ready. These were humanity's finest engineers, scientists, and construction workers, all sworn to secrecy and dedicated to a single goal: ensuring that humanity would never again be vulnerable to alien aggression. Dr. Jacob Reeves, the chief engineer of the Titan project, sent a detailed report from the hidden shipyards near Pluto. Prometheus can be operational in 18 months if we strip down the non-essential systems. The other 4 ships will take 3 to 5 years, but we can accelerate that timeline if we get more resources. Elena made her decision. She opened a secure channel to every human colony, every mining station, every research facility in human space. The message she sent would change everything. This is Dr. Elena Vasquez, speaking on behalf of the Earth government. As of today, humanity withdraws from all non-essential Federation activities. All colonial resources are to be redirected to classified construction projects. We are entering a state of total industrial mobilization. She paused, thinking of the children who had died on New Terra, of the alien species who had turned their backs on justice. The galaxy has shown us its true face. They see us as primitive builders, useful only for our labor and easily disposed of when convenient. They are about to learn what humans can truly build when we are united in purpose. Elena closed the transmission and began packing her personal effects. Within hours, she would be aboard a stealth transport heading for the outer system shipyards. The Titan project was about to become humanity's highest priority, and she would oversee its completion personally. As she prepared to leave the Federation station, Elena took one last look at the alien ships drifting past her window. They looked so elegant, so advanced, so confident in their superiority. In a few years, when the Titan-class world ships emerged from the darkness between stars, that confidence would be shattered forever. The galaxy had made a terrible mistake. They had pushed humanity too far, and they had no idea what was coming. The species they had dismissed as primitive builders was about to reveal the true scope of human ambition and ingenuity. Elena smiled grimly as she walked toward the docking bay. The Krillians had wanted to send a message with their massacre at New Terra. Soon humanity would send a message of its own, and when they did, the entire galaxy would listen. The Void Builders had work to do. The revelation and reckoning, 20 years had passed since the massacre at New Terra, and Admiral Marcus Chen stood on the command bridge of humanity's greatest achievement. The bridge of Titan 1 Prometheus stretched for nearly a kilometer, its viewports offering a spectacular view of Saturn's rings. But Marcus wasn't admiring the scenery. His attention was focused on the holographic display showing the approaching Krillian armada. "Status report," he ordered, his voice carrying easily across the vast command center, where thousands of officers worked at their stations. "Krillian fleet has entered the outer solar system," reported Commander Lisa Park, his tactical officer. 347 vessels, including their primary dreadnoughts. They're broadcasting surrender demands on all frequencies. Marcus nodded grimly. The Krillians had finally made their move. For 2 decades, they had been conquering human colonies one by one, each attack followed by the same diplomatic theater from the Federation. Expressions of concern, calls for restraint, committee meetings that led nowhere. The pattern had become sickeningly familiar, but the Krillians had grown bolder with each victory. Their latest demands weren't just for surrender of specific colonies. They wanted Earth itself. Complete human submission to the Krillian Empire, with the survivors to be relocated to labor camps in the Outer Rim. "Have they detected us?" Marcus asked. "Negative, sir. We're maintaining position in Saturn's shadow. The ice particles are masking our energy signature perfectly." Marcus allowed himself a small smile. The Krillians still thought humans were the same species they had been steamrolling for 20 years. They had no idea that humanity had spent every moment since New Terra preparing for this exact moment. Dr. Elena Vasquez entered the bridge, her hair now silver with age, but her eyes still burning with the same determination that had driven the Titan project from its inception. She had sacrificed everything for this moment, spending 2 decades in the hidden shipyards while the galaxy forgot about humanity's primitive engineering capabilities. "All 5 Titan ships are ready," she reported quietly. "Prometheus, Atlas, Hercules, Titan, and Colossus. 50 million humans are aboard these vessels, representing the best of our species. Our manufacturing capabilities, our cultural heritage, our genetic diversity. Even if Earth falls today, humanity will survive." Marcus placed a hand on her shoulder. "Earth won't fall. Not today." The main communication screen activated, showing the reptilian features of War Master Thekvar, the Krillian commander who had personally overseen the New Terra massacre. His scaled face bore the ritual scars of his rank, and his yellow eyes glowed with predatory satisfaction. "Humans of Earth," Thekvar's voice hissed through the translation matrix. "Your pathetic resistance ends today. Surrender now, and some of your spawn may be permitted to live as laborers. Resist and we will cleanse your homeworld as we cleansed your other nests." President Morrison, now in her 70s but still defiant, appeared on Earth's response channel. "War Master Thekvar, you have underestimated humanity for the last time. We are not the same species you attacked 20 years ago." Thekvar's laugh was like grinding metal. "Your ships are few and weak, human. Your weapons cannot pierce Krillian battle scales. You will burn like all the others." "Perhaps," Morrison replied calmly. "But first, let me show you what humans have been building while you were busy gloating." Marcus nodded to his communications officer. Across human space, the same message went out to 5 massive vessels hidden in the shadows of gas giants and asteroid fields. "All Titan ships, this is Admiral Chen aboard Prometheus. Execute Operation Revelation. Let's show them what real builders can accomplish." The first ship to reveal itself was Atlas, emerging from behind Jupiter like a second moon sliding into view. The Krillian fleet's sensors immediately began screaming warnings as they detected the massive vessel. Atlas was larger than most asteroids, its hull bristling with weapon systems that dwarfed anything in the Krillian arsenal. "Impossible," Thekvar whispered, his reptilian features contorting with shock. But Atlas was just the beginning. Hercules revealed itself from the asteroid belt, its massive bulk decorated with the flags of human colonies that had been destroyed by Krillian aggression. Titan emerged from the shadow of Mars, its hull gleaming with the phosphorescent markings that honored the dead of New Terra. Finally, Prometheus and Colossus revealed themselves simultaneously, rising from Saturn's rings like ancient gods awakening from slumber. The 5 world ships formed a defensive line between the Krillian fleet and Earth, their combined mass greater than some small planets. "Krillian fleet," Marcus broadcast on all frequencies. "You are facing the Titan-class world ships of the human race. Each vessel houses 10 million human citizens and possesses firepower equivalent to an entire Federation battle fleet. This is your only warning. Withdraw from human space immediately." Thekvar's shock quickly turned to rage. "Tricks and illusions. Your species lacks the intelligence to build such vessels. We will tear through your hollow constructs like tissue the day." Krillian fleet opened fire, unleashing the combined might of 347 warships. Energy beams, plasma torpedoes, and kinetic projectiles streaked across space toward the human world ships. The barrage struck Prometheus's forward shields and simply stopped. The massive vessel's defensive systems absorbed the attack without even a fluctuation in power. The other Titan ships weathered the assault equally well, their shield matrices glowing briefly before returning to normal. "Our turn," Marcus said quietly. The return fire from the 5 Titan ships was devastating. Each world ship mounted weapons that had been scaled up from human naval doctrine. Not elegant energy weapons like other species preferred, but massive, kinetic systems that fired projectiles the size of buildings at relativistic speeds. The first salvo tore through the Krillian formation like a scythe through wheat. Dozen of their ships simply vanished, vaporized by impacts that released the energy of nuclear weapons. The surviving vessels tried to scatter, but the Titan ships had anticipated this. "Deploy the swarm," Marcus ordered. From each world ship, thousands of smaller vessels emerged. These weren't the crude fighters that other species expected from humans. They were fully automated hunter-killers, each one equipped with AI systems that could outthink any organic pilot and weapons that could punch through heavy armor. The Battle of Sol lasted exactly 43 minutes. When it was over, the Krillian armada had been completely destroyed. Not a single enemy vessel escaped to carry word back to their empire. But Marcus wasn't finished. He opened a channel to the Federation Council Station, where ambassadors from dozens of species had watched the battle in stunned silence. "People of the galaxy," he began, his words carrying across subspace to every inhabited world. "You have witnessed the awakening of humanity. For 50 years you dismissed us as primitive builders. You stood by while we were slaughtered. You enabled our enemies and ignored our pleas for justice." The main screen showed the 5 Titan ships in formation, their massive hulls gleaming in the light of Sol. Behind them, smaller vessels were emerging from hidden bases throughout the solar system. Hundreds of them, then thousands. "The Krillian Empire ends today," Marcus continued. "Our fleets are already moving against their homeworld and colony systems. Any species that aided them, any government that turned a blind eye to their atrocities, will answer for their crimes." Ambassador Zethkri of the Altarian Collective appeared on the communication screen, his usual composure shattered. "Admiral Chen, surely we can negotiate. The Federation values humanity's contributions to galactic civilization." "The Federation had its chance to value human life," Dr. Vasquez interjected, stepping into view. "Instead, you valued political convenience. You treated us as expendable because you thought we were weak." She gestured toward the massive world ships. "These vessels represent 20 years of human determination. 50 million of our best and brightest live aboard them, along with complete manufacturing facilities, research laboratories, and cultural archives. We are no longer dependent on planets or the goodwill of other species." "What do you want?" Zethkri asked desperately. Marcus exchanged glances with Elena and President Morrison. They had discussed this moment countless times during the long years of construction. "We want justice," Morrison said from Earth. "Every species that participated in or enabled attacks on human colonies will pay reparations. Every government that ignored our diplomatic protests will formally apologize. And the Federation will be restructured with humanity as a full partner, not a junior member to be patronized and dismissed." "And if we refuse?" another alien ambassador asked. Marcus smiled coldly. "Then you'll discover what else humans have been building. The 5 ships you see here are our first generation. Construction of the God-class world ships began last year. Each one will be 10 times larger than our current vessels." The alien ambassadors fell silent as the implications sank in. Humanity had spent 2 decades secretly building the most powerful fleet in galactic history. If they could hide 5 moon-sized warships, what else were they capable of? "The galaxy has a choice," Elena added. "You can accept humanity as equals and help us build a better future together, or you can cling to the old order and watch it burn. But you will never again dismiss human lives as acceptable losses." Over the following weeks, the transformation of galactic politics was swift and total. The Krillian Empire collapsed as human fleets systematically dismantled their military infrastructure. Other aggressive species found themselves facing similar pressure as humanity's allies grew in number. The Federation Council underwent emergency restructuring, with humanity granted permanent seats and veto power over major decisions. Reparations flowed to human colonies that had been attacked, and new defensive agreements ensured that never again would humans stand alone against aggression. But perhaps most importantly, the galaxy's perception of humanity changed forever. They were no longer seen as primitive builders, but as a species capable of patience, planning, and devastating effectiveness when roused to action. Admiral Marcus Chen stood once again on the bridge of Prometheus, watching construction crews work on humanity's newest project. The God-class world ship Olympus was taking shape in the outer system, its hull already dwarfing the Titan-class vessels. "Do you think they've learned their lesson?" Dr. Vasquez asked, joining him at the viewport. Marcus considered the question as he watched human and alien crews working side by side on the massive construction project. The galaxy was a different place now, one where human voices carried weight, and human lives had value. "Some have," he replied finally. "Others will need more convincing, but they'll all remember New Terra, and they'll remember what happened when they pushed humanity too far." Elena nodded, her eyes reflecting the lights of the construction ships. The children who died there didn't die in vain. Their sacrifice taught the galaxy a lesson about the price of human blood. In the depths of space, the work continued. Humans and their new allies built together, creating wonders that neither species could have achieved alone. The galaxy had learned to respect humanity's strength, but more importantly, they had learned to value human ingenuity and determination. The age of human weakness was over. The age of human power had begun.